इदं वियोगे स्वरजोगनैपुणम् हिरण्यगर्भो भगवान् जगादयात् यदन्तकाले त्वयि निर्गुणे मनः भक्त्या दधितो जितदुष्कलेवरः idam this he certainly Yogaishwara, O my Lord, master of all mystic power, Yoganaipunam, the expert process of executing yogic principles, Hiranyagarbha, Lord Brahma, Bhagavan, the most powerful, Jagada, hope, yet which, Antakare, at the time of death, Toi, in you, Nirgune, the transcendence, Manaha, the mind, Bhaktya, with a devotional attitude, Dadhita, one should place, Ujjita Duskalebaraha, having given up his identification with material body. Translation purport by Divine Grace Sri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Slapur. O my Lord, master of all mystic yoga, this is the explanation of yogic process spoken by the Lord Brahma, Hiranyagarbha, who is self-realized. At the time of death, all yogi give up the material body with full detachment simply by placing their minds at your lotus feet. That is the perfection of yoga. Please respond. O my Lord, master of all mystic yoga, this is the explanation of the yogic process spoken by the Lord Brahma, Hiranyagarbha, who is self-realized. At the time of death, all yogis give up the material body with full detachment simply by placing their minds at your lotus feet. That is the perfection of yoga. Purpose. Srimadhvacharya says that Jasya samyak bhagavati jnanam bhaktis tatheva cha nischintas tasya moksha syat sarva papa krita pitu. For one who very seriously practices devotional service during his lifetime in order to understand the constitutional position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, liberation from this material world is guaranteed, even if he has previously addicted to sinful habit. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Apiche Sudrachara Bhajate Mam Ananya Bhav, Sadhurevasya Mantavya Samyak Vyavasishta Hisa. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated. Bhagavad Gita chapter 9, verse 30. The only purpose of life is to be fully absorbed in the thought of Krishna and his form, pastime, activities, qualities. If one is able to think of Krishna in this way, 24 hours a day, is already liberated. Sarupena Vyavasishta. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 10, Text 6. Whereas materialists are absorbed in the material thought and activities. Devotee, on the contrary, are always absorbed in the thought of Krishna, Krishna's activities. Therefore, they are already on the platform of liberation. One has to think of Krishna with full absorption at the time of death. Then he will certainly return home back to Godhead without a doubt. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnana Anjana Salakaya Chakkurunimiletam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Tapitam Jana Bhutale Soyam Rupa Kadamaham Dadati Sapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jutapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavanam Cha Sirupam Sagrajatam Sagana Siragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devan राधा कृष्ण पदान सगन रितां श्री विशाखान्वितं च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषावानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वंशा कल्पतरुश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनभ्यः वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So thank you very much for attending Srimad Bhagavatam. So today's subject matter is more or less like the perfection of yoga. How perfection of yoga is to remember the Supreme Lord at the time of death. So many people say that I am still young, that Krishna consciousness is a favorite recreation of old people because I am still young. So Prabhupada has explained very nicely, what do you mean by death? Death, what do you mean by old age? Old age means you are nearing to death. So how can you guarantee that you will not be, you next moment you will exist? Padam padam yadvi padam. Every step is a dangerous. Nishwasa nahi vishwasa kada ruddha bhavishyati. Visvambhar Thakur. So nishwasa nahi vishwasa. There is no guarantee that next breath is you can exist. Every breath is a death breath. They say that. So every moment you can die. So it's not like that, no, I can procrastinate, no, let me come to the stage where I can devote and I can remember. That is complacency. Particularly devotees also should not be like thinking of that. So the most important is that how to get out from the things, and here it is given that at the time of death is very, very important. There's a very nice Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say that, bhajan karo, japa karo, murtyu hoile janve. Whatever you do, but at the time of death, that is the final exam, final test. Final test, if you fail, you do not come out flying colors, then whole things may, that end justify your means. So in this regard, when this death-bound king, Parikshit Maharaj, approached a young devotee of Krishna, Sukadev Goswami, he was showing the way to immortality. So he asked very nice question, that he asked that what should one do? Two questions he asked actually. Very nice this one. Mriya manasya sarvata. So he asked very nice question. You are the spiritual master of great saints and devotee. I am therefore begging you to show the way of perfection for all persons, especially for one who is about to die. So everybody is on the verge or threshold of death. Everybody. Actually, everybody is dying every moment. The moment we take birth, the death is coming. Prabhupada said. Moment you die. One moment is past, you are dying one moment. Ayur harati vai punsam udyam astam chanyashu. This is given in this verse. 2:3:17. Ayur harati vai punsam udyam astam chanyashu. Tasyate yat khananitya uttama sloka bharta. So he says that both rising and setting sun decreases the duration of life of everyone. That means next day we are reducing 1 day. So the sun is plundering our duration of life every day. That means we are dragged toward death every day. Except one who utilizes the time of discussing the topics of all good personality of God. The person who is always engaged in studying Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, therefore we say read. Always inducing to everybody to read, because only person who can escape to be dragged toward death is the person who engage in studying the scriptures, discussing it. He will be dragged into Krishna. That is benefit for everyone. Therefore, it is stated in this beautiful verses that how important this, where there is a congregation of devotees, the discussion, question, answer become conclusive to both the speaker and audience. Thus, such a meeting is beneficial for everyone, real happiness. So this is the whole idea of Prabhupada is setting up the Bhagavatam classes, Bhagavad Gita classes, always saying that you read, always instructing to read. So that is the whole idea. So to answer this question, what is the duty, one who is going to die? So Sukadev Goswami very nicely explained. Sukadev Goswami is explaining that why people are busy in that. People have no time actually. He said that Shota Vadini Rajendra Ninnam Shanti Saharsa Apaschatam Atma Tattva Gruhesu Gruha Medina. So how a devotee should engage his time, how he cultivate Krishna consciousness, and how the materialistic people, there's a negative and positive. The negative thing is that here materialistic people, how they are engaged in this without thinking of Krishna, without even caring for the death. Death is like a taboo. It's like a what you say, very difficult to stomach. So nobody discuss. It's very sterilized. Nobody discuss in public. Nobody. They say India. They say, oh, don't talk about death. Very inauspicious like that. So therefore, here Sukadev Goswami says those persons, they are not interested to all the things. Those persons who are materially engrossed. Sotta Badini Rajendra Ninnam Shanti Saharsa. Being blind to knowledge of ultimate truth and many subject matter of hearing in human society. So many psychology, politics, physiology, this, that, nowadays social media is coming. They are very much interested in Instagram. They are not interested in very much indifferent to the Lord of Nandagram. So for them, he told these people are wasting time. How they are wasting time? The lifetime such an envious householder he passed at night either in sleeping or sex indulgence, and in the daytime either in making money, maintaining family members. So all their times encumbered by two processes. Morning they go for the work, and due to enormously stressful, exceedingly busy life, enormously stressful work, so they do not have time. They are so much encumbered, engaged, time for the spiritual investment. So as a result, what happened? So they waste their time. Chanakya Pandit say even one moment of the time is lost cannot be gained by the millions of dollars. What is that? Ayusha khena api na labhyate swanna koti bihi. So by that is the time. Time is very, very important. Time and tide wait for no one. There is saying. So one should be very careful that time is passing. There's a very nice verse. It is Prabhu quoted. So I'll try to get it. Sundar Gopal Prabhu he quoted. So knowing that one's duration of life is being similarly cut down by passing days and night, one should be shaken by fear. In this way, giving up all material attachment, desire, one understands the Supreme Lord, achieve the perfect peace. 11:20:16. So one should be very careful, not that very complacent, oh, we have time. No. Time flies like anything. 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 50 to 60, you never know that how the time flies. So therefore, time and tide never wait for anybody. So then again, Sukadev Goswami is saying that Dehapatya Kalatri Dasu Atma Sanyasa Sutapi Tesam Pramata Nidanam Pasyanapi na Pasyate. Person devoid of Atma Tattva do not inquire into the problem of life. Being too attached to the infallible soldier like body, children, wife, although sufficiently experienced, they still do not see their inevitable destruction. So these people so much engaged, they do not see that, okay, my life is from, what you say, home to work, like that. They say, what is that? Tomb, something to tomb, from the graveyard like this. They do not see that what is the purpose of life. They do not see that I am imperceptibly approaching towards the death. They do not see that. Pasyanapi na pasyanti. Although they see that people are dying, there is obituary in newspaper. They see every day people die. Just like Yudhishthira Maharaj say that, ahani bhutani gacchantiyam jamalayam. Stesta savara statra icchanti kim ascharam param. Same thing also it is spoken by Kulasekara that ascharam aitam manusyam loke sudham pibanti visam pibanti sudham parityaga narayana nama gocharani. So they are taking the poison and discarding the This one. They do not know the perfection of things. So therefore, the solution he has given now. The answer is given here. Tasmad Bharat Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvara Hari Soteva Kititavyacha Smatevya Ichchata Vayam. The answer is given in these two verses. O descendant of King Bharat, one who desires to be free from all misery must hear about, glorify, also remember the personality of Godhead. And who is super soul, the controller of Savior from all miseries. So this is the answer given. So therefore, one should hear. Unless one should hear, one should glorify, should remember. One cannot. One cannot get out from this fear of death. One cannot get out by any other process. One cannot avoid escape from the death. There's no way that one can. There's a verse is there. He says that if you fly to another, just like used to say Elon Musk, he want to make something to go to other planetary system, but still one cannot escape from the death. There's a very nice verse. It says that no one in this material world has become free from four principles: birth, death, disease, old age, even by fleeing various planets. But now that you have appeared, my Lord, death is fleeing in fear of you. The living entity, having obtained the shelter at your lotus feet by your mercy, are sleeping in full mental peace. So this is the thing, that how Elon Musk is trying to go to other planet, but you cannot escape death. Therefore, you want Ichchata Abhayam, you want the Abhayam, the way to immortality is given by these young devotees, that how one can get the immortality. By process of hearing, glorifying, hearing and remembering Krishna. And particularly he says that it should be culminated to the point of Etavan Sankhya Yoga Bhyam Swadharma Parinistaya Janma Labha Paraha Punsam Ante Narayana Smriti. So that is the final thing, the culmination of all perfection, highest perfection of human life. Active either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice of mystic power. Today is mystic yoga. All these things, their main goal, their ultimate goal, the pinnacle point of their perfection is that by perfect discharge of occupational duty, that is also karmi, is to remember personality of Godhead at the end of life. That is the final point. Krishna also say 8.5 Antakale Chamam Ye Pranati Madhavaktam Atrana Sansayana. So at the time of death, Krishna say 8.5, one in remember, he will come back to me. So that is very important point. That is also spoken in Bhagavatam. In Bhagavatam, it is, I think this verse 16. In Bhagavatam also he say that Krishna spoke. So, my dear Uddhava, I have thus explained you to perfect knowledge. There are philosophers, however, who challenge my conclusion. They state the nature of this one. Now, there is a verse is there, well, at the time of death. So, anyway, forget. There is a verse Prabhu quoted. Since all living must ascertain material body is subject to influence of time. So, according to this, so you have to, at the time of death, remember. Remembrance at the time of death is not so easy, because you cannot just sit on the examination and just block or write something. So, all your result, it depends on entire calendar year. Your preparation, your vigorous preparation for the entire calendar year. That determines how you come out flying colors in your examination. So therefore, your psychological condition at the time of death, that influences your success. Therefore, the yoga practice is meant for that. That whole perfection of yoga practice is to get contaminated, nirgune manaha. See, at the time of death, you are not nirguna manaha, you will be very difficult to remember Krishna. So whole idea of our Krishna consciousness process to come to the platform of nirguna manaha, to transcend this modes of material nature. Because we cannot concentrate on Krishna with that, with this contaminated things. So yogis, they are do like that. Dhyana vasitya tad gatena manasa paschantiyam yogina. So they do that. And the later verses 2:1 onwards, he's speaking out how important the yogic process. Sukadev Goswami is explaining this, how the yogis, they do that to get out from the ignorance and all the things. Sukadev Goswami explained that Maharaj Parikshit, now your duration life is limited to 7 more days. We don't have notice period. Many people say 7 days. We do not have notice period. So therefore, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Every day you should be very careful. Not that Bhagavat Saptah, they do that. This is all concocted. This is not given because he has got 7 days. Therefore, 7 days is spoken. We don't have 7 days also. Any moment. Therefore, Nityam Bhagavata, always. So he's explaining that how the yogis, at last stage of one's life, one should be bold enough not to be afraid of death. See, one must cut off all attachment to the material body, everything pertaining to it, all desire thereof. That is the difference between the death of materialistic person. The materialistic person, when they die, they fear. They fear. You have seen that hospital, those who are doctors, at the time of death, their bodily condition is disoriented. They fear, pass stools, urine, right? Because they fear, they see the Yamraj, just like Ajamil saw. So they have fear. But devotee, if he is fearing for the death, then he is not actually properly situated. He do not understand it. That is stated in these beautiful verses, 5, 19, 14. So in these verses, he says that materialistic are generally very attached to their present bodily comfort, and to the bodily comfort they expect in the future. Therefore, they are always absorbed in the thought of their wife, children, wealth, are afraid of giving up their body. See, why they are giving up their bodies? Because they always thought of their wife, children. Even somebody wants to also think of Krishna at the time of death. If they know that you are going to die, immediately they will call to all their relatives. And the person who is actually want to focus on Krishna, he will see his grandson. So he is focused from Krishna to grandson. They will also push the grandson. You go and see your Dadaji going to pass away. Dadaji is going to pass. Exactly is happening in India. They will call everybody, everybody come full. Then you push this grandson. Dadaji is going to Krishna, then see that then immediately their attachment shifted. See, because they are already attached. Somehow they are trying to make. So they cannot. So one person, what happened? So his father is so much attached, businessman attached to everything. I think Prabhupada told or something. Very much attached. Then son thought that I will take them whole holy places. After holy places also he did not change. Let me take to the Sansan Ghat. Varanasi, where they were born. Crematorium. Then he saw the crematorium, he was crying. So then the son, they thought that, he has now transformed. Then why you are crying? So he thought I should have, instead of doing cloth business, I should have done the wood business. I saw I saw so many business opportunity here, everybody dying. So I made a mistake, that's why I cried. So, see, that is the thing. So if you are so much absorbed, the Prabhupada say that you so much absorbed, you say anybody pushing you, chant Krishna, you say can, Prabhupada say can, I can chant. We cannot chant. Therefore, here it is saying that, so the materialistic, they are very difficult to, very difficult to give up their body. And afraid of, which are full of stools and urine. If a person engaged in Krishna consciousness, however, is also afraid of giving up his body, what is the use of having labored to study Shastra? It was simply waste of time. So whole Shastra studying to come to the point. Previously, I was having flight phobia. Now, after this Bhagavatam, no more. Flight phobia means always turbulence and things. So this is the thing. So at the last stage, one should be very much detached. Unless you detach, one cannot remember. So then his father is saying that one should leave home, practice self-control in a sacred place. You should bath regularly, sit down in lonely place, duly sanctified. So whole idea of this 4 Varnashram system also purpose is same thing. So 25 year brahmachari, 25 year grahastha, 25 year banaprastha. Why banaprastha? Out of sight, out of mind. Prabhupada in a lecture he told. Because you will be attached to family well child. So this is out of sight, out of mind. You slowly detach and prepare for sannyas. So that is whole idea, so scientific, systematically. So how to detach, not to attach. So here it is said that one should leave home, practice. I am not picking. So 5 days like. After sitting in the above manner, make the mind remember 3 transcendental letters Om, and by regulating breathing process, control mind and not to forget the transcendental shape. So in this way, one should always remember Krishna things. So our process is probably when Lord Krishna say 11:15 that all this mystic power is coming to the point of devotional service. Without devotional service, all this is because most of the mystic yoga, they try all the things to gain some mystic perfection. Krishna told Yogeshwara, mystic perfection. There are so many mystic perfection is there. See, Krishna is explaining not only 8 actually. We say 8, actually it is 16. Krishna say it is 16. Among the 8 primary mystic perfection, thereby 3 by which one transform one body to anima, becoming smaller than smallest, mahima becoming greater than greatest, lagima becoming lighter than lightest. Through the perfection of prapti, one acquires wherever one desires. Through pratkamya siddhi, one experiences the enjoyable object either in this world or next. Through ishta siddhi, one can manipulate obstacles, sub-potency of maya. And through the controlling potency called Vasishtha Siddhi, one is unimpeded by 3 modes nature. One who has acquired Kama Vaisistha Siddhi can obtain anything from anywhere to the highest possible limit. My dear gentle Uddhava, these 8 mystic perfection are considered to be naturally existing and unexcelled within this within this world. So Lord is explaining that some mystic yoga, they have these things. And also he explained for the 10 secondary mystic perfection. We always say 8, actually total 18. This 10 secondary mystic perfection arising from modes of nature are power, freeing oneself from hunger, thirst. You see that the yogis, they do, sometimes, media come, the yogis is not taken for years. Why? Because they have got this secondary imperfection. Hunger, thirst, the bodily disturbance, hearing, seeing things far away, moving the body at the speed of mind, assuming any form one desire, entering the body of other, dying, and dying when one desires. See, these are secondary perfection by yogi. Witnessing pastime between demigod and celestial girl called Apsaras, completely executing one determination, giving orders whose fulfillment is unimpeded. In this way, there are 18 perfection. But the perfection of mystic yoga is to come to the point of Ante Narayana Smriti. So here it is said that for sage who has conquered his sense, breathing and mind, with self-control and always absorbed in meditation on me, what mystic perfection could possibly be difficult to achieve? So by the process, everything they can get it. But Krishna, a little bit of said differently now. He said that learned expert in devotional service state that mystic perfection of yoga that I have mentioned are actually impediments, are a waste of time. For one who is practicing supreme yoga, by which one achieve all perfection in life directly from me. So that is where the bhakti yoga is supremacy of bhakti yoga. Yoginam api sarvesam say madagata antaratma manas. This is the thing. Krishna telling this is impediment. Arjuna also says chanchalai mana Krishna. Very difficult to practice. 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna says that very nicely that whatever mystic perfection can be achieved by good bath, herbs, austerity and mantra. See, mystic perfection will be achieved by 4 ways. Good bath, herbs, austerity and mantra can all be achieved by devotional service on me. And this is given also 11:15 you go through, it is stated that how one can get the good bath, herbs, austerity, mantra, how we can achieve in 11:5 and all the before the verses. That can be achieved by devotional service unto me. Indeed, one can, Krishna say that so many things by bath, how you do that, you can achieve this one. You can achieve that one. Very breakdown of achievement in perfection of mystic yoga given. But Krishna says that everything can be achieved by devotional service. That's all. And indeed, one cannot achieve the actual perfection of yoga by any other means. Then next verse he says that very nice verse. My dear Uddhava, I am the cause and the protector, Lord of all mystic perfection. The yoga system, of analytical knowledge, pure activity, and of the community of learned Vedic teachers. So Krishna is the cause, Yogeshwara. He is the Yogeshwara, he is the cause of all these things. He is the master also. He is the cause and master of both, all the mystic yoga, mystic perfection. Therefore, whole idea of things, if you engage your mind, as Krishna says, Manmana Bhava, the supreme instruction has been given that always think of me. Engage our mind in thinking of Krishna. Therefore, Prabhupada says we should mold our life in such a way that we should always remember Krishna. By chanting, by hearing, by attending all the devotional service, we will always think of Krishna. In this process, we will be purified. At the time of death, we will remember Krishna. Otherwise, very difficult to remember. Even though somehow we fail, apichetu durachara, devotee fail, still Krishna will pick up. So here it is in this verses also Krishna say that if you practice in such a way that somehow or another you fail, one who is thus given up all other engagement has taken full shelter of the lotus feet of Hari, Supreme Personality of God. It is very dear to the Lord. Indeed, if such a surrendered soul accidentally commits some sinful activity, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seated within everyone's heart, immediately takes away the reaction of such sin. That is also Prabhupada quoted 930. So this is the thing. Even you practice and somehow in a devotional service, you accidentally, prematurely fall down, no loss. No loss. And Krishna says, Bara Purana, somehow you are practicing and the time of death you do not remember. Yadavati, some I forget that. Somehow you remember, you don't remember, I will make you to remember. That is the concession of Krishna. Therefore, whole idea of that, how to control this one. Therefore, mind is the central point of all things. Try to understand, you cannot remember. The function of the mind is called thinking, willing, feeling. So, function of mind is thinking, remembrance comes from the mind thinking. So, how to engage the mind, that is the whole idea. Mind is the central of all the remembrance. This is the highest, this is the most important thing. Here it is said that out of all the things, the mind is very difficult to conquer. Krishna says, among things possessing quality, I am the primary manifestation of nature. Among great things, I am the total material creation. Among subtle things, I am the spirit soul. Things that are difficult to control, I am the mind. Mind is very difficult to control. So mind is the central point of all the things. Manmana bhava madhavakta. So Krishna say that you want to come back to me, you follow 4 things. 2 times he told, emphatically stressed. When somebody is telling Krishna in 700 verses is repeating the same verses 2 times, Manmana bhava madhavakta madhajadi mam namaskari. You have to think of me, you become devotee. Unless you are devotee, you don't think of it. So this thing difficult to mind. So it is also stated same thing, that is very difficult. Don't think that mind is very, you should not go behind the mind, go beyond the mind and transcend the mind. You should not give your power of patronage to mind. Mind, they say, is a good servant but a bad master. Bad master. It is stated this point, same point in 11:23:47. That how it's so difficult to control. Krishna also says 6:5:6. So here it is said that all of these senses have been under the control of mind since time immemorial. And the mind himself never comes under the sway of any other. He is stronger than the strongest. His God-like power is fearsome. Therefore, anyone who can bring the mind under control becomes the master of all these things. You cannot control. Krishna says mind is your enemy when it is not controlled. Mind is your friend when it is. So one can deliver oneself by the process of, this is stated in that, this purport by Madhvacharya, I think. Through the One can liberate it through the mind. Bhagavad Gita purport 6.5, purport. There's a verse is there, yes. Manaiva manusyanam karanam bandhamukhyah bandhaya vishwang bandhaya vishayasanga muktayati nirvishayam manaha. For man, mind is the cause of bondage. Mind is the cause of liberation. Mind absorbed in sense subject is the cause of bondage. Mind detached from sense subject is the cause of liberation. Therefore, mind who is always, this is from Amrita Bindu Upanishad. Therefore, the mind which is always engaged in Krishna consciousness is cause of supreme liberation. So, therefore, mind has to be. And very easy way to control the mind is, it is stated, the solution also given. Because whatever you feed your mind, you are the same person. You are the person, whatever you feed your mind. They say that, you are judged, Bernard said that, you are judged by your association. You are judged by your mind also. Mind also. Mind very difficult. So he say that there's a Radhana Swami given that you cannot, I saw to Prabhu. He told that in a book is written also that he said that devotional service, they cannot be, God cannot be realized and understood by any other process, philosophy, this thing. To observe your mind, how it is going. Then Prabhupada said, how we can only realize by observing your mind, how it is acting, how it is reacting. So Prabhu, President Prabhu, he quoted one verses, I remember these verses. He told, no, you cannot. He said that, what is that verse? 5:16. Oh no. Prabhu quoted this is 16:24. About the mind. No, 16 something, I forget. 6. Mind cannot be controlled by any other process. So mind is not the main thing. You cannot observe the mind because you will fail. 1 minute, I'll check this one. 6. No, I forget. So very nice verses. Let me find out. Very nice verse. Prabhu quoted this. I forgot how it is. 23, 26. 6:4:29. 6:4:29. Very nice verse. So Prabhu quoted that anything expressed by material vibration, anything ascertained by material intelligence, anything experienced by material sense or concocted within material mind is but an effect of the modes of material nature. Therefore, it has nothing to do with real nature of Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Lord is beyond the creation of his material world, for he is the source of material quality in creation, and the cause of all cause. He exists before the creation, after creation. I used to offer my respectful obeisance. Prabhu quoted this one. He told, by observing the mind, you cannot. The proposition is that you cannot understand God or realize God through any reading scripture or hearing this, all the thing, by observing your mind.
You can understand. Like that, he quoted a careful quote, and many people, well done, Mother, well done, Mother. So you must realize God with mind.
Yeah, his whole idea is that you should realize God through mind. So here it is said that controlling the mind. Prabhu quoted this verse when I asked. This uncontrolled mind is the greatest enemy of the living entity. If one neglects or give it chance, it will grow more and more powerful, will become victorious. Although it is not factual, it is very strong. It covers the constitutional position of the soul. O king, please try to conquer this mind by the weapon of service to the lotus feet of spiritual master. That is the solution. And of Supreme Personality of Godhead, do this with great care. See, this is the solution. So we have to follow the instruction of spiritual master. So spiritual master say that, what spiritual master say? Spiritual master say that man becomes strong, stout by eating sufficient grain, but the devotee who simply eat ordinary grains, but does not taste the transcendental pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Krishna, gradually become weak, fall down from the transcendental position. However, if one drinks but a drop of the nectar of Krishna pastime, his body, mind become too blue. He begins to love, sing and dance. See here Krishna say, Prabhupada purport, all the devotee connected with Krishna consciousness movement must read all the books that have been translated, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, others. Otherwise, after some time, they will simply eat, sleep, fall down from their position. They will miss the opportunity to attain eternal blissful or transcendental. With cooperate, they will not advance. Yesterday, Prabhu was giving. Everybody will not advance. This is the position. You were not reading. Stagnated. Not only stagnated, sometimes it will jeopardize. And one class he was giving, I gave a class on this. So simply, Sunday also I spoke. Simply you are on the runway. You never take up. What will happen? You will overshoot the runway, crash. How to crash the transcendental plane, bhakti. So this is the one method. Another method, you take up but you do not follow. Fuel switch off. You do not follow the regulative principle. So you take up, but I midway, either very immediately or in the midway you will crash. So therefore you should follow the SOP, standard operating procedure, means instruction given by the things. And this instruction is very prime instruction. You don't read, you want to become by things. There is a teaching of Kapila, 15. Simply you want to come and see the Lord and you do not hear. After that you will be bored, you will fall down. You will not be. Therefore, Sute Akhita Patha. You should see the Lord through years. After some time, therefore he told that our process is both Pancharatrika Marga and Bhagavat Marga. Although every time Bhagavat Marga is the upper hand, but he told both. Particularly Bhagavat Marga is very, very important. You come simply, this thing you do not hear, you cannot sustain your Krishna consciousness. You will fall down. After some time you will be bored. How long you will be jumping Hare Krishna? No substance. Even Prabhupada says in 4.9.11 purport, Prabhupada says that Dhruva Maharaj is speaking that you are very happy because, oh, this is appearance day, devotee coming association. But what is your plan? What is your plan to cross these things? No. So here he say that Prabhupada so many times stress a Mayavadi philosopher may question us. See, Mayavadi philosopher, he is always against, but he is still in support of Mayavadi philosophy, telling, may question us. You may be very happy in the association of devotee, but what is your plan for crossing the ocean of material existence? Yesterday you are saying now, bird of same feather flocks, but your strength, individual strength, not that leader is going. No, everybody has to apply own strength. Dhruva Maharaj's answer is that it is not very difficult. He clearly says that this ocean can be crossed very easily if one simply become mad to hear the glories of the Lord. Bhagavat Guna Katha. For anyone who persistently engage in hearing the topics of the Lord from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, who is actually addicted to this process, just as one become addicted to intoxicants, it is very easy to cross the science of material existence. The ocean of material existence is compared to blazing fire, but a devotee blazing. So this is the thing. Unless one simply association of devotee, very nice, Hare Krishna, very nice, it's a sattvic entertainment. Sattvic entertainment become, So you cannot transcend. So transcend means one has to be very spiritually advanced by the process of life. Prabhupada many times, many verses he spoke like this, You see, this is another place where he said that for the Vaishnavas, 10, 12, 11, very nice verse. They're very nice purport. For the Vaishnava who are somewhat advanced or who are fully aware of the glories of potency of the Lord, Srimad Bhagavatam is beloved Vedic literature. Vaishnavanam Priya. No. After all, we have to change this body, tatha dehantara prapti. If we do not care about Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, we do not know what is the next body will be. See? I don't care. I am still devoted. I know everything now coming. But if you do not care for Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, you will not mature in your devotional service. Sometimes jeopardize also. But if one adheres to these two books, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, one is sure to obtain the association of Krishna in the next life, Taktya Dehantara Prapti. Taktya Deham Punar Janma Naiti Mameti Sohajana. Therefore, distribution of Srimad Bhagavatam all over the world, the greatest welfare activity of theologian. One Chinese came 2 days before, full. He has everything is there, but at the end, he has Bhagavad Gita, Krishna book, and other 2-3 books. Therefore, distribution of Srimad Bhagavatam all over the world is a great welfare activity for theologian, philosopher, transcendental yogi, and as well as for people in general. Janma Labha Param Puso Ante Narayana Smriti, same thing. If one can somehow or other remember Krishna and Narayana at the end of life, our life will be successful. And final verses will close. The same things given. He was speaking about Prabhupada is very much stressed that how to control the mind means follow the instruction. And one time, yesterday, I was reading somebody lecture. Prabhupada said that, what is our mission? Jare dekha tare ka Krishna. No, he told Jare dekha tare ka Krishna. He told that Guru. So, what is that? 9151. Guru Kripa Krishna Pavo. Like Krishna Kripa already, Prabhupada said Krishna Kripa already there, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. He is speaking about that. Guru Kripa, Guru is telling Jare dekha tare ka Krishna. You read, you preach. So, unless two is there, where is Bhakti coming? Bhakti will not come by this other process. So, therefore, Prabhupada also say in this very nice purport. The last verse will show before I disperse. Srimad Bhagavatam 1 to 12. So here Prabhupada is writing that this is a very important verse anyway. Tas sadhana munya jnana vairagya yukta paschanti atmani bhakta shrute grahitya. So Prabhupada is explaining that that absolute truth is realized in full of process of devotional service to the Lord Vasudeva, personality of Godhead, which full-fledged. So Prabhupada says that very nicely, the bhakti. See, this is the starting. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the other Vedic literature, the supreme person is realized by the devotional service. The supreme person who is realized by devotion, which is backed up of full knowledge and detachment from the material association. So bhakti is not a sentiment. It has to be backed up by knowledge and detachment. So then Prabhupada is explaining about the importance of the Bhagavad Gita and all. So Prabhupada said that a third-class devotee therefore has to receive instruction from the devotional service from authorities of Bhagavad Gita. The number one Bhagavad Gita is established the personality of devotee, and other Bhagavata is also message of Godhead. The third-class devotee therefore has to go to the personality of devotee in order to learn the instruction of devotional service. Such personality of devotee is not a professional man. So then he is explaining that last purport. A sincere devotee must therefore be prepared to hear the Vedic literature like Upanishad, Vedanta, other literature led by the previous authority for the benefit of the progress. Without hearing such literature, one cannot make actual progress. And without hearing, following the instruction, the soul of devotional service become a worthless. Therefore, a sort of disturbance in the path of devotional service. That is Smriti Shruti Unless, therefore, devotional service is established on the principle of Shruti, Shruti, Purana, Pancharatrika, the makes of devotional service should at once be rejected. See? An unauthorized devotee should never be recognized as pure devotee by assimilation of such knowledge. So one can see the all-pervading localized aspect. So this is the thing. So Prabhupada is saying that if you do not hear this so-called make show of devotional service will not help. So one has to advance, mean one should learn this, one should read this Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada says, what is the use of so many disciples, non-knowledgeable? Therefore one should hear and discuss among ourselves and discuss about different angle of vision. So this is the process of, in this way we can control the mind, at the time of death we can remember. Otherwise remembering is very difficult, and without remembrance even the moment of time wastes. Sanistam mahat chidram sa vibhrama no sa yam metam kanapi, colossal loss. Vasudevana chinta. This is a colossal loss if you do not remember. 2936 purport. Colossal loss. So therefore one should remember always Krishna, and at the time of death one should mold our life. Prabhupada says in the purport 8.5, one should manmana bhava madha bhakta 8.5 also. You should mold your life such as that at the end of the day, at the end of the life, one should remember Krishna. Yeah, one should remember Krishna. So, but another verses is there that, so remembrance is actually by hearing and chanting. What is that verse? Where he says that this hearing and chanting more by vibrating your lips is more.
11:5-38.
Vibrating, simply by vibrating the name, it is more. How to remember? No. So, agachit. So this is the very nice thing. How to remember the Lord. So this best process of remembering the Lord has been given. This one. Agastya smaranam Vishnur bahu ayeshena sadhyate usta spandana matrena kirtanam tu toto varam. Spandana matra, vibration. Although capable of destroying all sin, remembrance of the Lord Vishnu is active only with extraordinary effort. On the other hand, one may perform Krishna Kirtan simply by moving one's lips, thus this process is superior. So Jiva Goswami has quoted, see, small. O descendant of Bharata, the holy name of the Lord Vishnu are always vibrating the mouth of one who has previously worshipped Vasudeva perfectly. So this process of hearing is very important. Although remembrance is powerful. And this is the process one can nail. So we will close this with the last verse, very nice verses about remembrance. Avasrititva charanaravinda Kinoti avadrani tatsam avasmiti krishna paradrani kinoti avadrani tasam tonoti sattasya suddhim paramatma bhaktim. See how the output jnanam cha vijnanam viraga yuktam. So remembrance of the Lord Krishna lotus feet destroy everything inauspicious, our greatest good fortune. It purifies the heart, bestows devotion for the Supreme Soul, purifies sattasya suddhyam paramatma bhakti. Both it purify and also give. Bestow devotion to soul, along with knowledge enriched with realization and renunciation. Simply not sentiment. It's enriched with knowledge and renunciation. Therefore, one should mold our life such a way that every time we should, at the time of death, you remember Krishna. That is the whole idea. So, Prabhupada in the purport is writing that process of remembering Krishna very nicely. This purport 8.5. The what's importance of Krishna consciousness is stated. Anyone who quits his body in Krishna consciousness is at once transport to the transcendental nature of Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord is purest of pure. Therefore, anyone who constantly Krishna consciousness is also purest of pure. The word smarana, remembering, is important. Remembrance of Krishna is not possible for the impure soul. See, Krishna says param brahma, param dham, pavitram. So we have to be pavitra, impure soul. who has not practiced Krishna consciousness in devotional service. Therefore, one should practice Krishna consciousness from the very beginning of life. Komar acharate pragya dharmam bhagavatiha. If one wants to achieve success at the end of life, the process of remembering Krishna is essential. Therefore, one should constantly, incessantly chant Mahamantra Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Lord Chaitanya has advised that one has to be tolerant. So this is the Prabhupada say that we should mold our life in such a that, so we should remember Krishna, never forgetting. This is the golden formula that Smateva Satatam Krishna Visvateva Najatuchi. And this is the highest rule, other rule are subsidiary. So thank you very much. Will any question, any comment, anything to add? Subtract. Subtract.
Correction Maharaj asked this 119:17. Sukadeva Goswami told the gist of Bhagavatam 2:1:1 to 2:1:11 actually. Both these.
No, he is continuing with 12 canto. Sukadeva Goswami is content up to canto 12 up to 6, chapter 6 up to.
Yeah, but this was because 11
Yeah, 11 is etava nirvidamananam. Hare Namu Sankirtana. The highest thing is that to chant the holy name of the Lord. So, if no question, I will stop here. Thank you very much for attending. So, Mantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.